Welcome back. I am Collins Trott, Child Development Faculty on the Wallace Community College Dothan campus. In this episode, we are going to be learning about vocabulary development and instruction. Early literacy is enhanced when vocabulary develops naturally through social interactions and as children experience their daily routines. Vocabulary is a collective sum of words and phrases arranged in the English language to communicate meaning. Children's vocabularies are based on who they are and their relationships in the world. Children develop their unique sense of self through the words they know and use when interacting with others and the environment. Reading, singing, and talking to babies from the time they are born are important experiences for literacy development. There are 4 categories of vocabulary development: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Children's listening vocabularies are more extensive than their writing vocabularies. Children understand and use more words when listening or speaking than when reading or writing. Vocabulary involves memory, which is storing and retrieving words, and comprehension, utilizing stored experiences. Children learn vocabulary by adding new words into their current schema or prior knowledge and conceptual framework. It is important for teachers to introduce new vocabulary and meaningful categories or classifications and encourage children to dialogue and engage in discussion. Children who have a diverse and rich vocabulary read and write with confidence. Self-esteem, which is the emotional self, self-concept, which is the mental perception of self, and self-efficacy, which is the belief and mastery of tasks, are characteristics of successful readers and writers. Children's vocabularies increase when reading widely in a variety of genres. Children's literacy development depends upon interaction of speaking, listening, reading, and writing with caring adults. Vocabulary instruction for young children involves learning new words in different subjects throughout the day. A strong vocabulary is essential for reading comprehension. So join me, Miss Trott, as we learn all about vocabulary development and instruction. Vocabulary is an important component of an effective literacy program, which also includes phonemic awareness, phonics, comprehension, fluency, and writing. Vocabulary knowledge is directly linked to reading comprehension and conceptual knowledge. There are several layers of reading comprehension: word level, sentence level, and passage level, and children need a strong foundation in print knowledge, which is letters and sounds, and word knowledge, which is sight and meaning vocabulary, to understand the meaning of texts. Children increase vocabulary through word immersion. Words are everywhere, and children's awareness in a print-rich environment contributes to vocabulary development. When infants are exposed to language by listening, they learn to form their own particular sounds, which eventually become words, phrases, and sentences. Parents who interact and read to their children enhance their children's oral language development. This oral language development process forms a foundation for reading and writing. This language base is necessary when children learn new concepts, which they interpret based on their prior knowledge and experience. Teachers can provide support by activating and building children's background knowledge before introducing unfamiliar topics. Words are meaningful when they are related to children's daily routines, such as waking up, playtime, nap time, eating, and bedtime. Having a solid vocabulary base will enable children to understand and enjoy reading in various genres of children's literature. The 3 main paths to vocabulary growth are life experiences, vicarious experiences, and explicit instruction. There are 2 main types of vocabulary that children must learn to be fluent readers: sight vocabulary and meaning or content vocabulary. Sight words are words that appear frequently in beginning reading texts. These words usually have no meaning individually and can rarely be decoded. Sight words, the foundation of literacy, facilitate the connection process of words to meaning. Meaning vocabulary consists of key words that are important for comprehending the texts. Meaning vocabulary is especially important in nonfiction texts because of the specialized terminology. Teaching sight and meaning vocabulary can be done through children's literature and vocabulary knowledge charts. Vocabulary is the key to improving reading and writing skills, according to author Melissa Forney. She suggests 6 components of effective vocabulary instruction. First, in a successful learning environment, teachers must respect learners, learners must respect teachers, and learners must respect each other. Second is the use of humor, novelty, and innovation, believing that gimmicks to help children remember information is important. Third, the sense of touch encourages a love of word knowledge through direct sensory experiences. Stimulating the senses through hands-on learning helps broaden the children's cultural literacy. Fourth, movement adds drama and or dance to the learning process and makes learning come alive. Fifth, eye anchors are objects, photos, or cards with written topics that help to keep children engaged and on task. Labels on objects in the classroom are a form of eye anchors. These labels may be printed in different languages depending on the culture and ethnicity of the children in your classroom. And sixth, validation supports the children's decisions and affirms their actions. All children need praise. Teachers must tell learners when they are doing something well. Perhaps a teacher makes an announcement in front of the class or quietly praises the child. These components build children's schemata through cultural literacy experiences, creating a strong foundation of comprehension. The vocabulary self-collection strategy assists early learners in developing meaning and comprehension through prior knowledge and interests. Nonfiction or fiction books are read as a whole class. To enhance reading comprehension and focus on meaning vocabulary, children select important words in the reading selection. These words help to create the meaning and assist children in comprehending the reading selection. Reading and discussing a text is one effective way to promote students' vocabulary development. Children's literature can stimulate meaningful discussions that represent children with a range of reading abilities or cultural backgrounds. When children make personal connections during independent reading, they develop a positive attitude, understanding that meaning is the goal of reading. During meaningful discussions, children question the text, build opinions, use text-based evidence, and make personal connections. Learning new vocabulary and new language presents a challenge for young children, and especially English language learners. Labeling items in the classroom with clearly printed cards is a simple technique to help young children recognize new vocabulary words. Routines for building vocabulary skills are effective, as it is important to set up a structured time each day to introduce new words and practice the new vocabulary in different situations and contexts. Writing and drawing in a journal on a daily basis create effective writing habits and develop vocabulary use. Additional strategies are vocabulary flashcards, connecting visuals with text, and using wordless picture books. There are many ways to assess a child's knowledge of vocabulary in context, for examples, reading passages or writing samples, and in isolation like word lists. Teachers should use a variety of assessments to measure the complex layers of children's vocabulary knowledge. Some of these include the San Diego Quick Assessment of Reading Ability, Miscue Analysis, Cloze Activity, and Vocabulary Self-Assessment. Supportive and nurturing learning environments promote vocabulary development. Effective strategies and practices involve a variety of texts using books, magazines, and newspapers in different genres such as fiction or nonfiction for multiple purposes like informative, persuasive, and enjoyment. Building a child's vocabulary supports fluency and comprehension. Now, let's review what we've learned. Knowledge of vocabulary development concepts assist teachers in planning effective instruction. Children utilize metacognitive strategies to learn what words mean and how to read fluently based on their own experiences. Print-rich environments facilitate this process. The early literacy environment supports learning to read through the use of words with rhyme, rhythm, and repetition found in stories, songs, and poetry. Vocabulary increases as parents and children interact through everyday experiences, eating dinner, playing in the park, watching movies, and entertaining guests. Teachers expand children's word knowledge through modeling, demonstration, practice, and evaluation or assessment. Playing with words through reading, writing, poetry, and games leads to laughter and joy in learning. Vocabulary instruction involves sight and meaning vocabulary. Sight vocabulary, also known as high-frequency words, builds a foundation for reading. Meaning vocabulary assists readers in understanding content. Cueing systems help children understand the syntax, semantics, and pragmatic applications of language. Meaning and comprehension is the goal of reading. Vocabulary and word recognition are also important in a child's literacy toolbox. Learning words through association enhances children's vocabulary acquisition. Effective strategies for vocabulary instruction for English language learners includes vocabulary flashcards, wordless picture books, and connecting visuals with text. Word list, observations, checklists, miscue analysis, and the vocabulary knowledge scale are examples of assessment practices for vocabulary. Children gain confidence, self-efficacy, and higher self-esteem as they accomplish goals in literacy. Vocabulary development and instruction play an important role in a child's journey to become a successful reader and writer. That wraps us up for this episode. You can learn more about this topic by reviewing the resources posted in your course. As always, if you have any questions, please contact me or your instructor. Thanks for joining me, Miss Trott, as we learn all about vocabulary development and instruction. See you next time.